A big one's been behavior. They're actually policing themselves now, which is great because I never thought first graders would take that on. But once we talked about, we wrote our shared vision and our code of conduct, we just refer to those all the time, and when we have a problem, we just go back and make another affinity diagram. What is, for example, we had a problem with listening right before the holidays, so we made a affinity diagram of what does a good listener do. So again, the kids thought of a bunch of different things that good listeners do. They drew them on stickies. We grouped them into categories, and now whenever I'm having trouble getting them focused for a mini lesson or for a read aloud, I just stop and say, I'm going to wait till I see good listeners, and I point to the chart, and they settle down really quickly. And when someone else is acting up, the kids are turning around and saying, we would like you to sit on your bottom, or we would like you to keep your hands to yourself, and they're ready to go. And that's been huge. Actually nice doing it the first 2 weeks of school because it took the place of some of our team building, because it was team building. It was talking about what we as a group want and how we're going to achieve that together. So I don't think it really took away. It almost did it for me, and the kids were in charge, which was really powerful. And I found that just going back and reminding them over and over again, it gets shorter and shorter each time, and they take it on, and now it takes hardly any time at all. I point to the diagram once, and they're quiet. And even like today's the day before Christmas, I pointed to it twice this morning, and they were ready to go. So I'm not nagging. I mean, last year I was constant. You know, you sit on your bottom. Can you please show me what it looks like? And now it's just pointing to I don't even say anything. I just point to the diagram and wait for them, and they're getting the message. I'm not talking as much, and I feel like by not talking that much, when I do talk, they get the message better. It's not so much me being the police, they're policing each other, which is really nice, and themselves.
One thing I really like about the shared vision in the kindergarten classroom is it really brings out a lot more leadership and student accountability than you normally would see in a regular kindergarten classroom. The students are able to use the language, the common language of the shared vision to hold each other accountable, and they do that on a daily basis. Another thing I like is that when a child is like misbehaving or they're forgetting the things that we're doing to have a great class, I can just point out the shared vision and they know right away how to correct that behavior. It's so ingrained into what we do every day with the transitions and our code of conduct, and we talk about it so often that if I just mention it, the kids can right away stop what they're doing and get right back on track. And there's very little downtime because of behavior since we have the shared vision.
The dashboard concept, I don't know where it came from. Like I've told numerous people, it was just one of those 4 o'clock in the morning wake up, oh, this would be cool type of things. And side note, it's one of the great parts about standards-based system is that it frees the educators to use their creativity and their imagination that has been locked up for so long. And there are so many creative and imaginative teachers in the world that are being held back because they're expected to use curriculum sets. So, side note, specifically about dashboards, the students use them for their reading goals. They use them to monitor their reading goals, where they are right now.
This is my goal that I practice on for reading. So that means where I am, like if I need a lot of help or a little help, or I can do it, or I can help another people. Okay. That means the ones that are colored, I know, but the ones that are not colored, that means I don't know them. This is my name, okay. And I use a hand. If I need help, I raised it up. Oh, this is my name tag. We put it, in the end of the day, we put it right there where the boys' coats are, and then in the morning when we come, we get them and we put them right there.
That I'm handing them, gradually I've handed them over the ownership in this classroom. And with that ownership, it comes a great responsibility, okay, that they're starting to understand. That not only is it important that they evaluate themselves, but also that it's important that they're able to communicate with others their message, what they're learning, okay, and be able to evaluate. It's a two-way street is what it becomes.
Actually, we just started using one of them. We made a how to solve our own problems flow chart together so that now if they need to solve their problems, they can do so. So we sat down and talked about, okay, what are the emergency problems that the teacher needs to deal with right away? We listed them, said, okay, if it's one of these things, if the answer is yes, you need to get the teacher. If not, what are some steps you yourself can take? And they actually came up with 4 or 5 ideas of things they can do to solve their own problem, and they started using it. Whenever someone comes up to me to tell me someone took a pencil, I kind of point to the flow chart, and then they go and look and try one of the alternatives. So they can do it, and they're really getting really good at solving their problems.
This is our math flow chart. It shows us directions how to work. So first, you read your learning targets. You get your materials like your capacity matrix, your math journal, math tools, some paper, and some worksheets. Then you go to the checkboard or your overhead for your assignment or to begin your next lesson.
Well, this is the amazing part. When the kids do master a learning target, their names are written right there on the learning target. They get to highlight their name. And now every other child that wants to learn that same learning target can go to that student and say, I'm trying to learn to count to 100 and you already know how. Will you please help me? And they do help each other. And there's incentive in my classroom too that students would be able to help each other. When everyone's name on the learning target is highlighted, then all the students get a small prize. Because we're all in this together. You're either the learner or the teacher. And if you're helping someone learn, you're helping us get closer and closer to getting that prize. But really the students don't do the work just to get the prize. They really are excited about highlighting their name. They get to take home a celebration certificate to their families when they master that learning target. And it really becomes a celebration of their learning. Every day somebody's celebrating something.